Hey guys, what's up? We got another knife video, and I think I'm going to be cranking more of these out. I just got super busy and kind of stopped putting them out, so I think I'm going to start back up. And to start back up, I wanted to do a collection update. And that's right, I did say collection. I only have 4 knives now, and you see them before you. So I'm going to be going over why I only have 4 knives and what I like in knives. So first off, I guess I'm just going to go through each one of these individually and talk about them a little bit. If you watch my channel, you already know that the Sebenza was my favorite knife. I think I said that, but it is definitely one of my favorites and dearly loved. Love the micarta inlays. I'm actually thinking about sending this in for a spa treatment because the lockup, as you can see, is getting a little late. I mean, it still is completely solid, but just something I would want to, I'd like for it to be at about 50%. But there's that, and also re-sandblasting the titanium. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but this one is pretty nicked up. There you go, you can see it there. Whoops. And there it is. Not a big deal. But I would like, I would like it to be, fixed up a little bit. And at the same time, I'm thinking about also getting a Sebenza 21 clip point blade for this. And I already talked to Reeve, and they said they could do that for like 140 bucks. So I think I might do that eventually. But like I said, Sebenza is one of my favorite knives. I don't think that one's ever leaving my collection. I've already had a ton of offers, and I could have traded it for some great stuff, but I don't think this one's ever going to be leaving my collection. This next one is a newcomer. It is the Southern Tolk. You probably recognize that logo and that name from one of my other videos on the Southern Avo that I did eventually sell. But this one I think I like a lot more. It's got some more custom touches. Like it's got the blue thumb stud. It's got custom pivot. It's got custom blue spacers as well. It's a beautiful looking blade. And I gotta be honest, one of the reasons I like it is because of the name, the Southern Tolk. It is named after J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer of the Lord of the Rings books. And he is probably one of my favorite authors. I've read The Hobbit countless times, and I've read through the series like 3 or 4 times. Love the movies, except for the Hobbit movies. I felt like they were a poor portrayal of the book. So, anyway, back to the knife. It's got great quality, perfect centering, good tolerances, over travel stop, great aesthetics. Great flipping action, and great thumb stud deployment action. Of course, no blade play. Great sharp jimping on the flipper, the blade, and actually even on the lock bar a little bit. So, that's the Tolkien newcomer. I think it's a keeper, but I've said that about many other knives. But this one is one I've been chasing for a long time. Me and one of my knife buddies, we always have a list of knives that we want to get, and this one has been on my list, I'm pretty sure, since the beginning, since we first did that, because I've wanted it so bad, and I finally was able to scoop one up. These are becoming more and more hard to find. Next, something that was my first knife over $400 or over $500. That was a bad deployment, but it was with my left hand. But the Shirogorov 95T. Man, this knife is just beautiful. See that? All I'm doing is releasing the lock bar and getting my thumb out of the way. Oops. Let me try to do it from this angle. There. Very, very smooth. amazing. It's got a very nice clean grind on the blade. Good lockup. It locks up a little early, but there's no blade play whatsoever. It's got a beautiful custom sculpted pocket clip. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention on this one, this does have a Crusader clip that I honestly want to get rid of. I don't care for it that much. I'm going to get a stock one and then I'm going to sell this one. Anyway, back to the Shiro. It's got great milling on the handles. Just really love this thing. This one's in S30V. Oops. So, you know, not super high-end steel, but sorry about that. Don't remember where I was, but it's just a great blade. Looks to me like perfect centering. Just amazing. Definitely a keeper for that one too. I've already had several offers on that one also, and it's yeah, it's staying. Last but not least, this one I consider to be the pinnacle of my collection, and that is the Grimsmo Norseman. It's got a beautiful honeycomb pattern, beautiful pivot, custom pivot, the Grimsmo logo. Here for this one, let me move these blades out of the way so it can focus. It's got gold hardware on the thumb stud, the over travel stop, and standoffs. It's got a beautifully stonewashed blade. I actually like these grinds. I think it makes it look really cool. Other people don't. They say that it's bad finishing, but I think it was designed this way, so I am okay with it. It came actually extremely sharp, and normally I don't like Tantos, but I see the utility on this one. This tip is already round, so it's not going to be damaged from sharpening, and I'm not going to have to worry about rounding off that tip. It's going to be great for roll cutting like this, great for cutting open boxes, putting a secondary tip there and pulling. Great recurve. It's a funky looking blade, but I like the look of it and I see the practicality of it. One of the things I like is that this one also is very nicely crowned, and so is the flipper tab. I'm just going to take a moment to show you it in detail. You can see I already got a couple marks on the clip. Oops. Very, very smooth. As you know, Norsemans are not cheap. In fact, I sold most of my knives to get it. A couple that I loved and I will probably get again, a Slish Buoy that I was never able to do a review on, but I'm going to get another one and review it. I put a lot of use on the one I sold. I don't regret selling it because I was able to scoop this up for, you know, what's actually surprisingly a deal. This one was only $1,000. I know that you can buy one from Grimsmo for $600, but they rarely pop up, and most of the time now on the secondary market, these are averaging $1,400. So I saw one for $1,000. I sold Todd Beg Quaken, which I was actually already cooling on, and wanting to sell. If I get another one, or you know, I may talk about why one day. the Slish Buoy, like I said, and also a Microtech SOCOM Elite that I don't regret selling, but I would like another one day. And I think that's it. But I sold those, got this. I do not regret a thing. Oh, also an Alamic Wayfarer 24/7, which I might get another one of these days. So yeah, there's my current knife collection. The reason that I have only 4 knives, and they are these knives, is I believe in quality over quantity. By quality, and I'm talking about tight tolerances. I think one of the best things to look at for tight tolerances is the centering on the Norseman. There was no room for error. There was barely any daylight between the blade and the handle scales. I also like good construction. I haven't taken these two apart yet, but these two I already have. And I like that they're constructed with 2 screws going through a barrel that have a casing over it, or a standoff. Like what you're seeing here on the Tolk, these blue spacers are not what the screws go into. There's a barrel that goes through this spacer that the screws go into. Another thing I like, of course, is great action. All of these flippers flip flawlessly. This one is probably the worst of the 3, but that's not saying much. I mean, these 2 are known for their amazing flipping. This one has a very light detent. I have not felt a detent this light on a flipper, even on XM18s, but as you can see, it still rockets out there. I mean, it doesn't cause any problems. It doesn't shake loose easily, but it's still very light. And of course, the Sebenza, I mean, you can flick it. It's not really known for that, but it's very smooth. I also like finish. Not a single part of this knife wasn't touched, wasn't finished up neatly. Same on the Sebenza. I also like good aesthetics. The Sebenza and the Shiro are more traditional. These 2 are more outlandish, I guess, but I like the looks of both of them. I love the looks of both of them. I love the looks of both of these. I prefer the look of the Sebenza with the clip point. That's one of the reasons why I'm considering getting a blade for it, but this is a very classic blade shape. Nice drop point, full flat ground. Just beautiful and classic and elegant. Another thing I look for are special features, such as on this one that you don't see on a lot of knives is it has a little channel so that when you flip it, your finger goes right into the smooth channel and it doesn't, it's comfortable. It's not like this knife, the Norseman, that doesn't have it is uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable. This is comfortable. Some other special features would be the crowning on both the Sebenza and the Norseman. Custom pivot, like on this Tolk. And the custom anodized hardware and stuff. Also, something that I consider a special feature is that you can flip it with both the thumb stud and a flipper. Because sometimes, sometimes I feel like flipping with my thumb and not like this. Not with just a regular flipper. And I like that both the Norseman and the Tolk, have both of the options, and both of them work flawlessly. I like good ergonomics. All of these are very comfortable in the hand. And I like the materials. As you can probably tell by looking at this, my favorite knife material is titanium. I just like I like that it's a little bit more hefty than aluminum and G10. I like the different finishes it can take. I like the feel of it, and I like the properties of it. It's just my favorite material. Also, this knife has currently my favorite steel on it, CTS XHP. That's another reason I loved my Slish Buoy. I'm looking forward to getting to know RWL 30, right? 34, yeah. Very exotic steel, not found on a lot of knives. S30V, not my favorite, but everything else about this knife is just flawless, and S30V isn't a bad steel by any means. And S35, which many people say are an issue, or is an issue on Chris Reeve knives because they chip out, but all I did is threw a micro bevel on this knife, and I haven't had it chip in like 6 months. So yeah. So those are really my points on buying a knife, what I look for, and what I want a knife to have. I'm going to be coming out with more reviews soon on, well, these 3 knives. You've already seen a review on this one. And I'm still have some knives that I'm looking at buying. I want another Strider SNG. I sold mine to get, of all things, the Jade M4 Paramilitary 2, which I sold a couple months later. And I really wish I had that SNG back. That's really, right now, the one knife I regret selling. So I want to get one of those, and I especially want it with the stonewash blade and flame tie. I'm also looking to get an Umnumzon. I want to get one of those and try that out. And really, that maybe a Nirvana or another Integral, and try that out. But really, that's all I'm looking for at this time. I'm not saying I'm out of the knife hobby or going to be at that point, but those are just the knives that I have my eyes on right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another review or video soon. And yeah, you have a nice day.